Well, after Donald Trump's felony conviction in New York, his allies are seeking revenge and calling for retaliatory actions against Democrats. The former president talked to Sean Hannity about this on Fox News last night.
What I've gone through, nobody's ever gone through. I'm a very legitimate person. I built a great business. I have been under siege. It has to stop because otherwise we're not going to have a country. Look, when this election is over, based on what they've done, I would have every right to go after them.
CBS News campaign reporter Olivia Rinaldi is following the latest from Phoenix, where Trump is expected to be campaigning later on today. Olivia, so what are you hearing about this?
Yeah, good morning, Anne-Marie. Donald Trump often says that his success will be his retribution, but since that verdict last week, his rhetoric really has been ramped up to 10 when talking about revenge. But not only him, but his allies like Steve Bannon and Stephen Miller. They recently have been talking about imprisoning Bragg, about overhauling the DOJ if Donald Trump were to be reelected. So it's part of this effort really of some of his allies to lay the groundwork that if Donald Trump gets reelected, there will be some retribution for the local prosecutors who have brought some of these cases against him, and for the DOJ and Special Counsel Jack Smith as they continue their criminal investigations of him as well.
So you're in Phoenix, where Trump is expected later on. What's on the agenda for him?
Yeah, a couple things on the agenda for Trump today in this very balmy 116-degree Phoenix while we're out here. It'll be his first campaign event since the verdict came down last week, and it's kind of an interesting event that he's holding. It's going to be a town hall with Charlie Kirk, who's the CEO and founder of Turning Point, which reaches out to young voters across America, young Republican conservative voters, and tries to turn them out. And it's town hall style. So Trump will be talking to people in the audience. He'll be answering their questions. And I really find that notable because in the weeks after having this verdict, you really want to control the message and you really want to control what is being said out there. And when Trump is in this sort of environment where he's taking questions, you can't always control that. We, have followed up with Turning Point to see who will be asking questions, if they have some pre-planned questions and that sort of thing. But really, it's an interesting choice for Trump to make for his first visit out here to Arizona. This is his first time visiting the Grand Canyon state this cycle, which is notable. It's the last battleground state he has yet to visit. So we're watching a bunch of things today with his first trip out here to Phoenix.
So it's been less than a week, I think, or about a week since Donald Trump joined TikTok. Almost immediately, his account had more followers than President Biden. I think it has over 5 million now. I mean, does that say anything about his ability to tap into younger voters, or is it, or maybe there's not much you can read into it at all? I don't know.
It might be a one-off, but it might speak to how he is reaching out to younger voters. They consider that campaign a success. He joined TikTok at that UFC fight last weekend, and you're right, in less than a week, it's been about 5 million followers. That's a lot. That's a lot of young people he's reaching out to. Also notable, they're doing things like joining TikTok, small social media campaigns, but also holding intimate conversations with young voters. Just last night, Donald Trump held Black conservative college students and legacy college students at Mar-a-Lago and had a dinner with them. They're part of this group called Conserve the Culture. That's a key demographic that Donald Trump wants to chip away traditionally Democratic voters that Donald Trump is beckoning and saying, come over to my side and perhaps vote for me. We're seeing a little bit of movement there in the polls, and we'll see what comes to fruition come November.
All right, Olivia, thank you.